of stupid. Warning. Experiments in this show were conducted by people who ignored science. Do not try any of this stuff yourself. This is the science program where Eureka means that's funny, or oh my god. Oh yes, we'll show you the science that could have made these people's lives so much simpler. As we introduce expanding gases, stored energy, and the conservation of momentum. Watch as the scientifically impaired stumble around in an underworld of guided missiles and misguided individuals, showing that the difference between insanity and genius is success, and that success without science can be disastrously elusive. Call the emergency services. It's the science of stupid. In this show, stand by for the world's dizziest man, the world's shortest flight, and the first human popsicle. But first, this. Forklift trucks, workhorses of the warehouse. But ignore the science and the warehouse becomes a war zone. We all want to impress on our first day at work.
Clean up in aisle 3 and all the rest of them.
Nearly 100 people die every year in the USA in forklift accidents. So let's put it safely in the hands of science. Raising the forks raises the forklift's center of gravity. That increases the chance that lateral movement will tip the center of mass outside the wheelbase, toppling the forklift. Carry too much weight and the forklift is like a seesaw, pivoting on the front wheels. Carry even more weight and it'll tip forward. The tendency to tip is one of the most common causes of operator death. But all safe here, except for his job. This forkwit has tipped his forklift forward to extend its reach. By keeping the forks at maximum height when he tips back, he's turned his forklift into a massive upside-down pendulum. This is the longest accident in history. Those of you who've been paying attention will remember that a heavy load tilts the forklift forward like a seesaw. So raising the forks with too much weight on isn't a good idea. Thanks for the demonstration. Forklift operators need to be careful and watch out for heavy and unstable loads. It's just common sense.
Happy to see what happens here. What could be the best?
If it's so obvious, why don't you tell him? It's an unstable load.
Let's go far. Let's go far. Yep.
Thanks for that. 10,000 green bottles have accidentally fallen. Flying's not just for the birds. After a successful takeoff in a hang glider or paraglider, you can have the entire eagle experience. Birds are the flying experts, but Homo sapiens is the top species when it comes to flying accidents. Sorry, the bathroom's taken. But the good news is, there's no danger of you having these airborne accidents until you've mastered the takeoff. Let's show those dodos the science of lift and takeoff. Airfoils create lift in airspeeds of about 20 miles an hour. Air flows faster on the top than the bottom, increasing pressure under the airfoil, which pushes it up. To get that sweet airspeed, pilots take off into the wind, running or using a power source. Get a good airspeed over that airfoil and nothing can go wrong. Probably. This hill has a steep slope to run down and the pilot's facing into the wind. Textbook. Sadly, he hasn't checked the wind speed. Remember, high wind speed for takeoff, low wind speed for crash. Why depend on the wind in our modern scientific age? This intrepid birdman has borrowed his mum's hairdryer. Probably needs more power. Like this, here's a powerful engine. Well, I say that. At least it's not far to the car. This intrepid aviator is getting towed into the air with a powerboat. But all that power won't help if you've got a nasty crosswind to deal with. Here's Joe. He's about to experience the challenges of paragliding.
Run, Joe, run!
Take off 100% success, Joe. Good luck with the landing. It's certainly windy up here. Remember what we said about takeoff facing into the wind? I wonder what happens when you don't. The wind's behind him, so instead of launching him into the air, it's dragging him over the cliff. Fortunately, it all ends well, as once clear of the cliff, he enjoys a pleasant ride through the skies. Sort of. Sounds like he's enjoying himself. Fancy trying that again? Maybe not. Question: how are biomechanics about to spoil this holidaymaker's day? Remember this relaxed leisure lizard? His day by the pool is about to take an unexpected turn. So why did he take an unscheduled dip? Well, when walking forwards, we humans are virtually falling, as our centre of mass is often in front of our supporting foot. That's all well and good when you keep going, but a sudden stop means that your forward momentum will turn into a tumble. Why the sudden stop, I hear you ask? Well, let's check what happened whilst our friend was still snoozing. Gluing sandals to the ground isn't scientific, but it is very funny. Running downhill is very dangerous, but some say, why walk when you can run? Then why run downhill when you can roll? These rolling stones aren't gathering moss, just a selection of nasty bruises. Have you noticed how hard it is to run downhill? Well, there's a reason for that. When you run down steep hills, gravity accelerates you very quickly. The hill pushes your centre of mass in front of your feet, and over you go. Trying to correct this by shifting your centre of mass backwards means you topple backwards. So if you try to run down a hill, it'll probably end in tears. So don't. Nevertheless, some misguided individuals believe they can successfully run downhill. Didn't I say, don't do this? These folk are amusing themselves by chasing this round cheese. There it is. But it's obvious that no one's going fast enough to catch it. So they're enjoying the old English tradition of using gravity to meet people. Although you might not want to meet him. The reason that running humans can't catch a round cheese rolling downhill is all in the science. Friction prevents a non-round object from moving down a slope as it needs more force to rotate. A round object actually requires friction to gain the traction that allows it to roll rather than slide. This bin isn't round, so needs some gentle encouragement to start it rolling. And because it's not round, it doesn't roll efficiently. That's better. These brave Russians have done their homework, and they've planned a 20-mile-an-hour roll. That's enough G-force to cause blackout. The crew have been ejected. They've had enough. But the round drum wants to keep on rolling back down the other hill. Not to be outdone by their Russian colleagues, the American roll program uses a simple but effective method. With a 50-foot-high hill, gravity could accelerate the roller to 30 miles an hour.
That sucks.
You don't say.
I hit my face on the inside of that tire like 30 times. I was like, doosh.
Yes, like headbutting a wall 30 times. Shame there wasn't a camera in the tire. Ooh, there was! High-pressure gases and liquids need to be treated with respect, or avoided altogether, because they're extremely dangerous. Even a simple toy, like this air-propelled rocket. Can't see it. Oh, there it is. Differences in pressure can lead to dramatic consequences, from propelling things through the air to blowing them up. Falling foul of pressure isn't just one of those things. It comes from a failure to grasp the science behind its power. Increase the amount of gas or water and you increase its volume. Limit the volume but continue to increase the amount and the pressure rises. And if the pressure gets too much, the container explodes. So the key to pressure control is a steady release of water or a steady release of gas. So, not understanding that pressure is controlled by a gentle release can be dangerous. This car may bob like a cork, but it weighs a ton. Massive rainfall has ramped up water pressure inside the sewer pipes. Remember controlled release? This isn't it. Well, at least the car's clean. Oh no, it's not. That's a sewer. The perfect Sunday afternoon. Wash the car and take a nap. That's over £2,000 per square inch, 5 times more pressure than a fire hose. Extreme high-pressure water can cut steel, and if you think water pressure's bad, check out the gas. At room temperature, liquid nitrogen turns into nitrogen gas, which has 700 times the volume. So placing it in a sealed bottle probably isn't a good idea. And standing close is an even worse idea. Mixing an acid and a base generates carbon dioxide gas.
It's getting really hard now.
Remember what happened with the nitrogen gas? So don't play with pressure. Hey, let's let off some steam. Actually, it's high-pressure gas. Didn't we say pressure must be released gently? Yeah, we did. Some sort of crime has been committed here, even if it's only against fashion. Skiers get to wonderful locations like St. Breckenridge, Whistler, and the Fracture Clinic. I bet you didn't see that coming. And neither did he. But ski jumping is an even more dangerous downhill death ride. And without the science, it's the landing that gets you. The world record ski jump is 808 feet. But you can do yourself a mischief with much smaller jumps. To avoid that, you need science. A successful landing depends on maintaining the jump's momentum when returning to the slope. The skis must land parallel to the snow and be facing downhill to minimize the friction acting against the direction of travel. A bad landing results in rapid momentum loss. And before worrying about the science, make sure you land on snow. Ski fashion, 3 out of 10. Landing, 0 out of 10. And who'd want to land in this? He would. Skiers can jump twice as far as snowboarders. But you do need to take your skis with you. The friction on his skis stops them dead, whilst the momentum of the rest of his body slams him into the snow. And the single ski landing doesn't give enough balance.
I got that on tape!
Cheers for that. Here's a clear landing site. And he's got both skis on. Leaning back during takeoff starts a spin. His back works like a crude ski and gets him downhill. But trust me, skis are much better.
I thought you were gonna die for a second.
Even the greatest ski jumpers should never forget the science of landing, because leaning back does this. And leaning forward does this. That's probably an impact 3 times his body weight. Perhaps it's easier if you land in the opposite direction. No, it isn't. Remember, land sideways and friction stops the skis dead, whilst the skier's momentum sends him off on another jump. Sadly, without his skis. If you want to pole vault over high or wide obstacles, you'll be needing a big stick. Top pole vaulters can clear obstacles up to 2 stories high. But not with 6 feet of old tree. To pole vault, you need a strong, flexible carbon fibre or fiberglass pole. Yes, that's pole vaulting. So how does a bendy stick get a vaulter 20 feet into the air? Science, of course. The elastic properties of the pole store and release energy from the run, which propels the jumper over the crossbar. The faster the run, the more energy there is to store in the pole. The more the pole bends, the more potential energy is stored in the pole. The pole then releases the energy, lifting him into the air. 25% of high school pole vaulters injure themselves every season. So jumpers, beware. Unless you're strong enough to control the pole, the energy from your run is released with unpredictable and generally painful consequences. Remember, keep hold of the pole. Letting go unleashes the energy of the jumper's run, like that. And that. It's a pole, not a javelin. Theoretically, a 17-foot pole can propel a vaulter over 20 feet. Getting maximum energy into a pole creates lots of strain, so top jumpers check their poles for damage before every jump. And here's why. The energy stored in these poles can be up to 3,000 foot-pounds. That's more energy than a bullet has when it leaves a rifle. But it's not just a broken pole you need to worry about. A beautiful conversion of horizontal momentum into vertical momentum. Perfect. Except for that, one of the finer points of pole vaulting. pressure, pronging, poking, pranging and popping. You all take care of yourselves. And the best way to do that is avoid everything you've seen people doing on the Science of Stupid.